So I think that one of the most significant aspects of the development of Vancouver to what it is today is the lack of highways through the urban core. Unlike most other major North American cities, and Vancouver came very close to that, I suppose, back in the 50s and the 60s. The Granville Bridge, the third Granville Bridge, which still stands today, was, I guess, the first link of what was intended to be a new freeway system. And I've seen some of the old proposed plans, which involved 8-lane elevated freeways along the waterfront of downtown, also out along Point Grey to UBC. And originally, there was a proposal that I think came fairly close to providing a third crossing to the North Shore, which is going to be a major freeway bridge right across the bay here. And they were going to have it support an artificial island just off of Stanley Park here. And I've just in the past year, been going through some of these old proposals, and I guess they came very, very close. And some of the civic elections, decades ago, were bitterly fought over this issue. And back when the world was really going car crazy in the 50s and 60s, and it's interesting that we managed to, in hindsight, I'd say, dodge that bullet and avoid a lot of the problems involved with segregating parts of inner cities, all over North America and the world for that matter. And we've avoided that by completely avoiding these freeways through the city itself.
Yeah, I think it was the beginning of. I think it's fair to say it was the beginning of civic activism in the city. It was, as you say, the late 50s and 60s, and they were just going to tear down Gastown.
Yeah.
It's so hard, incredible to believe now.
Yeah.
But this Downtown East Side Residents Association formed up to fight it successfully, as it turned out. And Mike Harcourt, who subsequently became mayor, Bruce Erickson, who's a well-known activist, and so on, got their start fighting that project. It was a real turning point in the history of the city.
And it's, freeways tend to obviously separate communities, and that didn't happen here. So we now have this urban core, which all the Gastown, Chinatown, Yaletown, West End, the financial district, and it's all tied together. I consider downtown to be my neighborhood. I don't even think in terms of those. And most other cities, we don't need to name them, but choose almost any major city in North America, and it's cut apart, whether it's a coastal city or not, cut apart by these freeway systems. And it's been really nice, and it's put more of a focus on people living and working closer together, because the commute isn't so simple. And I think that's been really important. From here you can see the two crossings that do exist go to the North Shore. First Narrows are a Lionsgate Bridge over this way, and Ironworker's Memorial Bridge down this way, often referred to as the Second Narrows Bridge.
The Lionsgate Bridge, which is obviously the famous crossing in Vancouver and it's sort of a photographic icon, was actually built by the Guiness family.
Yes.
I believe it was 1938 they built it, and it was originally created almost, I like to look at it as a long driveway to the properties, and those homes up on the hill, which is the wealthiest postal code in all of the country. It was the British properties, and they were slated to be sold to wealthy people in a wealthy neighborhood. But there was no way to get across the inlet here except by boat. And wealthy people just didn't want to have to commute by ferry every day, so they asked the city permission to build a bridge. Which they were granted permission, but there was apparently a clause in the contract, and it cost them $6 million to build the Lionsgate Bridge. And in the contract it stated that the city could buy the bridge back from the Guiness family at any given time for the same price they paid for it. So the Guiness family apparently operated as a toll bridge for a number of years, making about $18 million in that time, paid off the bridge 3 times over, and then the city bought it back off the family. So they did really well with that bridge, and it still stands today. They just refurbished it, and it looks beautiful.